Lagi satu.
Two red dots. Double char siu ah.
Pergi kepada laman website kami.
Pergi ke benar-benar.
Tak tahu.
Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of
Tak tahu tanya.
Okay guys, today the episode is very interesting. I know every time I will say this, every time I will say the same thing. Every episode kan interesting. Betul lah Bari?
Betul.
So kenapa episod ni extra interesting?
Pasal kita akan berbual tentang macam mana nak beli satu BTO dengan satu condo at the same time.
Macam mana? Boleh ke?
Aku rasa boleh lah. Tanya ni lah.
Tanya ni lah. Tak, okay. So basically,
Kena
is it
objectified.
possible guys? Is it possible to own macam, like you all are living in one property, but is it possible to own two properties? Is it possible to own one HDB, one condo? One HDB, one HDB? One condo, one condo?
Condo boleh lah.
One condo, one landed?
Boleh.
Kalau tak ada rumah?
Boleh juga.
Pun boleh
juga. Okay, yeah. Yes. So is it possible to own two properties? Let me ask the experts. Ayu. Macam mana ni? Kalau dorang nak own dua property, usually kalau orang tinggal satu property kan, diorang macam I feel like it's time we can buy another property. Dia boleh ke tak boleh actually?
Boleh. Actually boleh. Memang it's just that kita nak kena tahulah bila klien kita approach kita kan, dia at which season. And then also whether they actually sekarang they own the property already or they only at the early stage whereby they just started to okay, what are the possible ways to actually own two properties in the lifetime lah. Yeah. So for example, if let's say diorang sekarang ada property and then they reaching diorang punya 5 years MOP. So how to actually own the next property? If let's say two names are already inside as owners, then of course you have to let go of this current HDB lah. Then plan for the next option lah. So if let's say the plan is actually to own one HDB and one condo, your next purchase have to be a HDB but only one ownership. Yeah, so for example, you have to decide lah between husband and wife, siapa yang nak jadi the first the owner lah.
Tapi tadi you talk about season kan. So like what I mean for someone who never heard about season. So
Season sejuk.
Salju
So, kalau senang cakap gini kalau kau tengah season kalau kau tengah dalam season sejuk, that means tengah rabak.
Tak ada rabak. Okay, how about
rabak is bad lah. That's not very nice.
It's
Not
not.
nice way to put it lah.
Okay, that means if you're in a cold season, that means you're not like let's just say every household got their own challenges. So
maybe you want to explain
season
like, macam
sejuk
what are
the different
four
seasons,
and what does it represent lah?
So when we look at the stage of, let's say you are at the stage of buying your property, you're looking at investing or portfolio planning. First, you need to identify which season you're at. So for example, I think kita semua ada different season. Like for example, there's 4 different seasons. Usually there's the spring season, the summer season, the autumn season, the winter season. So your spring and summer season is when you are in your early 25s all the way to 45. These are the years that you are building your income. Maybe you're starting a family, you just got married. Maybe you just had one kid, maybe 2 kids, and you are in your income growing years. Yeah, so this is probably the time where you want to aggressively expand on your aggressively kind of expand and take advantage of your loan. Because at this moment, actually kau punya loan amount or your loan tenure is still very long lah.
Okay.
Because like at 25 all the way to 45,
ada 20 years
like from like 35, your loan tenure is still about 30 years to 20 years.
Okay.
If you go to 45, so you still have a very long like runway for your loan. So that's why this is the season where you should try to aggressively expand your portfolio if you don't want to increase your asset value. Then when we go to the autumn and the winter season, that is probably when you start to consolidate your properties. Maybe you already own one 4-bedder condo or maybe a landed. Then you don't want to move anymore. Your kids are already growing up. So maybe moving might not be the priority. You just want to consolidate your assets, stay in the property.
So more of like retirement planning.
Yeah, more like retirement planning.
Yes.
Just kind of you see the monthly installment is already healthy.
So kira-kira dah sejuk lah.
Macam
Kan dah boleh lepak.
bukan dah sejuk lah, macam dah lepak lah.
Dia dah sejuk
Dah
lah.
boleh chill
Macam
lah.
So
nak
macam
relax
at
je,
that age
relax
they
je.
doesn't want to like macam have a lot of like commitments,
Yes.
like stressful commitments, like have to work till like you have to just pay your monthly mortgage.
Yeah, and I believe this stage is the stage where most families are already quite comfortable, such that they don't really need to like expand their assets so aggressively
Sebab tu dia
anymore.
masih sejuk, dia nak chill.
Yeah.
So but then these seasons are they like attacked to an age? For example, like if you're in winter means you are basically you're 50s, 60s.
Yes. So it depends. For example, from spring season, we classify from 25 to 35. These are when you probably just started working. Baru dapat
After
kerja.
school.
Then
First job.
maybe you just got married. Maybe tak ada anak lagi.
Belum ada anak.
Belum ada anak. This is the time you want to aggressively try to expand lah.
So kita lah.
Macam
Macam it build up your savings
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
plan.
Barang-barang
So
spring.
korang season apa?
season.
Apa
Gimana
season?
season?
Spring lah.
Spring ah.
Spring kan?
Season kering.
Tu tak ada.
Spring.
Tu tak ada.
Kira kan
Itu
season
bukan
kita
mimpi
tengah
Albi
kuat.
punya terms.
Faham tak guys? Kita tengah kuat, kita nak ada impian yang kita nak reach.
Yes, that's the word impian.
Yes. So basically it's the impian season, you know.
Yeah.
Dare to dream, you know.
The hopeful
Yes.
season.
Dare to dream.
Yeah.
This is where we climb the ladder, you know.
Okay, so back to owning satu HDB dan satu condo.
Yeah.
So misal kata aku nak kahwin
Mm.
and then aku nak beli rumah,
Mhm.
aku belum lagi beli BTO.
Mm-mm.
So but I know when you beli rumah dengan your spouse, dia ada owner, dia ada occupier. So what is the correct strategy?
Now that's very interesting because this is a scheme that I don't think banyak orang tahu. If let's say you do want to own one HDB and condo, it can be done, but you have to plan this from the start already.
Yeah.
Meaning like when you buy your BTO,
Yeah.
you cannot buy as two owners. Okay.
Faham.
So there is a separate scheme that you can do for buying a HDB. This applies to both BTO and resale lah, by the way. If you want to buy your BTO but you have intention to buy a condo later, then you can actually apply under the owner occupier scheme.
Oh, so ni kira kan satu nama lah.
Yeah, it's like a scheme lah. It's a scheme that HDB has.
Right.
It's, I think bukannya macam scheme,
Mm.
but it's more of like you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that is
usually macam
something-
family ni semua kan. Yeah, so basically this one is still family because it's a marriage, right? So between your partners, you have to choose lah who wants to be the main owner. So but usually the one that who's going to buy like a condo, they need to have a high income lah.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to plan that way. So there's a lot of strategy to work around this. So for example, maybe because the wife maybe ada bila ada anak kan, nanti kan kita ada macam maybe ada stop
Yeah,
working for a
stop kerja.
while and everything to jaga anak and everything. So maybe the husband becomes the occupier. So the wife becomes the
owner.
main owner. Correct. So after 5 years, once it reaches the MLP, then the husband can actually proceed to purchase a condo lah, a private property. Because right now the husband doesn't have any property count to his name. Yeah, so that is one option.
So do
which
you
is
recommend macam the wife becoming the owner from the very get go?
I would say like the wife or husband, but
Yeah.
more have to
Siapa
assess
lah.
both.
Yeah, both
Yeah,
have a higher
correct,
income.
correct, yeah.
So
Because-
whichever have the lesser income, it is
the one the being owner for the HDB.
Right. So
Yeah.
actually ni benda actually banyak planning guys.
It is lah. It
Dia
is.
actually daripada start kena plan. So ni
Yes.
kira kan okay, so actually I wanted to ask this daripada tadi lah. So macam like why would people want to have
This
two properties in the first place? Macam like satu tak cukup ke? You know, obviously having two is better. Tapi macam like in another aspect, why would you want to have two properties?
Because I also think that most of us macam beli rumah, you will just be probably just staying there for the rest of our life. You just buy one marital home and then that's it.
Yeah, I think the typical Singaporean route is like, so you buy BTO and then once it reaches MLP, you just stay there if it's comfortable. And then once you reach your retirement years, macam 60,
I think that one is more of like macam my parents' time. Yeah, for instance. So it's like macam bila they own a house, diorang macam so I got something to like I own, you see, my own things, asset and everything. So very proud of it. So they tend to like stay for very, very long time,
Yes.
right? So they don't have all these ideas about doing this and everything, and of course. So it's just like naturally they will also like, you know, like pass down the idea like, oh, asal like need to pindah-pindah and everything,
So kirakan
right?
rumah tu macam sentimental value
Yeah,
lah.
Yeah,
sometimes
they
it's
have a lot of
emotional
attachment.
also.
Yes, a lot of attachment. Usually the older folks lah, I find.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
why then begs the question, kenapa why this generation actually want 2 properties instead of 1?
I think it's because a lot of young people nowadays have the aspiration to own a condo. So they want to explore, they want the convenience and the affordability of the HDB, but they also want the lifestyle of a condo.
Right.
So it's macam you get best of both worlds. Actually, it's a very, very common thing now. Because a lot of my friends ask me like, kenapa sekarang condo macam mahal?
Right.
Like right now, entry price, if you're looking to build a family,
New launch,
3-bedder, 4-bedder,
2 million.
for a new launch, it's probably like 2 million already.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you're looking at resale market,
berat.
1.5,
And
1.4,
the size also
1.5.
getting smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the size getting
Altogether.
smaller.
Why is
So
the new launch more expensive than the resale market?
Because potential bro, potential.
Sure.
Potential.
new launch.
That's a topic for another day.
Let's talk about the lease. Let's talk about lease. First of all, new launch has a fresh lease compared to that of a resale. When you buy a resale, the lease has already been depleting over the last few years.
Yeah.
For example, you buy like 90 years balance lease. But a new launch, when you buy, is a fresh lease. You're the first owner. And when you buy as a first owner, usually it's quite advantageous because technically any profits that the property receive is you're the first person to receive.
The first port of call.
Dia macam terbalik lah dengan HDB. HDB dia BTO murah, habis resale mahal. Tapi untuk private, dia punya new launch dia mahal, dia punya resale murah. Dia macam terbalik lah.
Yeah, that's something that I didn't really think about.
If you think about it, HDB wants you to stay in that house. It's really for own stay. That's why they sell it for cheap. Tapi for condos, that's why it's called private, because they want the money. That's why it's expensive from the start.
Is it like recommended to macam from HDB upgrade to condo atau to own both?
Okay, so the reason why a lot of people ask about this, right, on HDB on condo, is because the HDB that they stay usually is a BTO, and they have incredible sentimental value.
Right.
Meaning like when I have consulted macam some clients, right, and I ask them why you don't want to sell off the HDB, I think it's because this is their first house. They feel like there's a very strong sentimental value to the house, so they don't really want to sell. But at the same time, they do want to do asset progression.
Wow.
That's why this is something that's concerned. Because if they sell after 5 years MOP, then they will also feel macam
Kan.
macam
Dia nak kena gerak
kena-
macam
kena
leceh.
jual.
Then the other thing also, I think because you also spend a lot of money on their renovation usually.
Yes,
Yeah,
usually.
usually it's first home, right? And then after that, you know, in addition to that, sometimes they buy near their parents.
Yeah.
Then it's along the way they have like started to have like their kids and everything. So caregiving and everything is also another.
The
Yeah.
renovation is an emotional decision. Right?
Correct. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of like emotional baggage as well lah. If
That's
let's say they have that roadblock. Basically, this is like a roadblock lah. It's like if you don't sell, you also cannot move on to your next plan.
Correct.
Yeah. But at the same time, if you sell, then what's next?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
So back to the owner occupier then. So does that, just to clarify, does that mean that kalau macam the monthly mortgage you will be depleting from the CPF of the owner lah, not the occupier? Or how does that work?
Yeah. Let's say the husband decides to be the owner, right? And then the wife be the occupier. So the affordability just depends on the husband's income.
Correct.
And then the loan all is for the husband. And the CPF also usage also for the husband only. So the wife's CPF is also untouched. So basically, if you want to do this process, you have to make sure as well that the husband can maintain and sustain this mortgage, and then can take this amount of loan, X amount of loan.
True provider ni.
Yeah. breadwinner.
The true breadwinner. You really need to have like you need to have the mindset to make sure you can provide for the whole entire house.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of in a way there's a lot of restrictions lah, because in a sense, if this is easy to do, then everyone would do it.
Exactly.
You know.
Yes.
Tapi there are certain like restrictions
tak apa.
that
Everybody
you
make
need to
mistakes.
take note of. So for example, like what you mentioned, first of all, your CPF and your loan has to be strongly dependent on only the owner. Then thirdly, the legal ownership actually is only towards the owner.
Yeah.
So technically, the occupier does not have ownership rights to the property. So that is something that of course husband and wife need to discuss.
Yeah.
They're okay with it.
Ni macam very sensitive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
sensitive
hence
lah.
why that's why the wife can buy
Because,
another property.
I mean, on paper it makes sense. Tapi on the ground, sometimes I ask couples, then maybe
Don't
they
feel
might
safe.
not be too comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
Ni kalau divorce kan,
being a-
leceh.
then leceh lah.
Dah leceh duk. Serius. Serius, kalau kau imagine, kalau the lelaki have full rights of the whole house, and then like macam diorang gaduh, and then like if the lelaki just want to like, you know, want to sell the house,
he can just do it. He can get full money from the house.
Yeah.
Then the wife just get nothing.
But for HDB, there is a protected layer lah, because the husband cannot just sell, although he is the main owner, he cannot just choose to sell it without the knowledge of the wife.
Right.
Yeah, because everybody have to sign off, because this is how they protect the matrimonial punya situation in Singapore lah. Yeah. So you got suka, but private of course, because it's the 100% ownership is to the husband, right? No one needs to know whether he has a wife or whatever.
And also the wife got women's rights.
Yeah.
Women's rights very strong. Okay, in Singapore. Tiba.
I know condo ada this thing called decouple, but then this one not existent for HDB lah.
Yes.
No, this is the closest thing to decoupling. If anything. For example, let's say I have 90% share, my wife got 10% share. Technically, if you do want to exit, like buy over your wife's share, then you have to buy it over. Means like you have to actually go through the entire legal process to purchase the 10% share.
Faham.
That is decoupling.
Oh.
Yeah, so you have to buy over the buyer stamp duty. You have to pay buyer stamp duty. If there is seller stamp duty, you have to pay also. Then that is how it works if you want to exit from a private property. But for HDB, it's not like that. For HDB, is once you hit MOP. Yeah, the other thing is owner occupier. The occupier is also tied down by MOP. So despite the fact that they are not the owner, they still have to fulfill the MOP,
5 years,
the 5-year MOP.
Right.
But the difference is between private and HDB is that if you go the HDB route, you don't have to do any buying over of the share or anything. They can just straight away go and buy another private.
Actually, what can you do if you have like two properties?
Like one HDB, one condo.
What can you do actually? What is the reason why people do this?
I think it's because, most of the time it's because they want to increase their assets. They want to increase their asset value. Okay. For example, if you buy a BTO 400k and the value is at 650, 700k, then let's say the husband is earning about 10k, about there, you can loan up to about 1.1 million. Then you can purchase up to about 1.5, 1.6.
Those are crazy numbers.
Yeah. So like
ni rupiah ke SGD?
If rupiah then is different story bro.
Kau punya otak dah macam calculator.
Bila.
Tak, kau dah macam calculator. Aku macam where do you get these numbers, man?
Yeah, I can see you like
that's like, okay. Yeah, so as you were saying, asset progression. Yes.
Yeah, so asset progression. For example, you have the HDB 700k. Let's say if the husband earns 10k, they can loan 1.1, and then they can buy up to maybe 1.6, 1.7, 1.5, 1.6 for a condo. Then if they do buy that condo, 1.5, 1.6, and you add on to your current BTO at 600k, then suddenly your total asset value as a family is about 2.3, 2.4. And then from there, this is probably, at this stage, you'll probably be 35 years old. Assuming you buy a BTO at 25 and it MOPs at 34, 35. Yeah. Then at 35 years old, you already own 2.3 or 2.4 million dollars in terms of asset value, which is something that's very attractive lah. So that's why a lot of people want to explore this route.
Actually, to be honest, when you talk about this, I just realized something that I've realized quite a while back, which is actually semua Singaporean have the potential to actually do this if they actually start very young. If they actually knew this, kalau dorang dah tahu ni dari dulu kan, dorang confirm ada potential to actually macam raise dorang punya assets. So macam like actually having this knowledge is actually very important. Yeah, like I also wish I knew this at the very start lah. But the thing is, having the knowledge and having the like, is it possible for me to do so? That one a different story lah. Yeah. But like I feel like macam like I think this knowledge it should be known more lah to more Singaporeans. Okay, korang dengar okay?
So how does that work? Kalau aku nak beli HDB and then nak kena tunggu 5 tahun MOP, then that condo pun ada 5 tahun MOP, and only after those 10 years then I can consider owning both assets and then I can rent out satu. That's actually how it works, right? Right?
This one you're talking about the condo side,
Yeah.
Like if you want to
renting out.
Renting out lah. That's the whole purpose of owning 2 assets. Rent out one.
For condo tak ada that kind of restriction. So basically, for example, if you existingly you have one HDB and now you have a condo, right? Baru beli So you can immediately rent out.
Immediately
For
rent
both.
out.
For condo you can immediately rent out.
For
You
HDB,
don't have to
the
have
restriction
any.
is got 5 year MOP.
Correct.
So
You have to stay
you
inside.
cannot-
Or you have to be owner occupied for that 5 years. But that's why they call it minimum occupation period.
Yeah.
So you have to stay inside. So basically for condo when you buy, you can immediately rent out. So if you want to keep your HDB, you want to stay because of sentimental value, close to parents, whatever reasons that you want to hold on to that HDB. But this condo when you buy, you can definitely rent out immediately. And then for example, when you rent out this condo, right? Perhaps if let's say you still have an existing mortgage on your HDB, you can use this to actually offset whatever that you pay in cash or using your CPF.
Wow.
So you get what I mean? So your CPF is untouched, and then on top of that you earn passive income. So this is what something whereby everybody wants to do lah, without having to work extra hard. But this house, your asset actually works for you.
Is there like
in that sense.
recommended year after you beli HDB then maybe 5 years later baru beli condo, or can I buy is it recommended to buy condo immediately, or is there like a recommended years after beli HDB?
Kalau in terms of timeline, I would definitely say do it early, right? Because like what what's your name? Farouk.
What's going
Farouk. So Farouk
I
kan
knew
tadi
you were
cakap,
processing my name. I didn't know it would come out of your mouth.
Farouk kan cakap tadi yang the timeline wise, if you are younger, the loan tenure is longer for you, so your monthly mortgage is lesser. So as you get older, although for example 1.5 million, you want to buy the 1.5 million for a 30-year-old versus maybe 50 years old, although same price, but the mortgage that this older person is paying is so much higher than this younger person. So you want to manage that, right? You wouldn't want to your whole income you just put into your mortgage, right? So this is one way lah. So whether you want to time the market, and that's why they always say don't time the market. If you can really have you can afford to buy, and then the right unit comes up and everything, then just grab it lah.
Yes, ada opportunity ambil take the opportunity.
I think also dependent on your finances. Of course, like if let's say in 5 years time, once you reach the MOP, but in terms of earning power and down payment, it might not be comfortable for private, then we will advise against it lah.
Right.
And it's either, because at this current juncture, even though right you own one HDB on condo, right, there are still
other factors.
There are still other factors. For example, there are also clients, right, that I had, although they take this scheme, in the end they still sold off the HDB and bought a condo. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Rather than do the one HDB on condo. Because at that moment when they forecast and plan this, right, and then when it actually happened upon the MOP, they realized like, okay, I think the occupier's earning capability might not be strong enough. And we might not have the down payment portion for a private. Because the thing about HDB is, when you buy 400k, let's say BTO, and then you sell off 600, 700k, if you decide to just deviate and go for the HDB condo route, you technically cannot cash out the proceeds
correct.
but pay for the condo. So in the end, there are still couples who,
so they have
like, although they take the scheme, they still sell the HDB and buy the condo.
because they need to cash out their
So it's strongly dependent on your own finances.
Actually,
also
it's very big decisions.
It is lah.
Ni benda actually kalau tak plan total kan, actually it also depends on your situation also. What happens like macam
along
like,
the way.
along the road you cannot like plan ahead. Something happens, then you also need the money, So it depends on what season you are at also lah. Because season 2 tapi season ni.
So I also have a case whereby they sell their HDB already. So they want to plan these two, because they already buy two together, right, in the first house. So they actually decides to buy together and then buy separately after that. So the wife went ahead to buy first condo. Okay, but then by the time they are ready to buy, they kind of price out. Meaning that initially the husband affordability, when they plan ahead, right, is actually it can be done. But now they are priced out, meaning that the houses pricing has already gone up so high that it's not an option anymore.
I think that's why also Ayu mentioned to upgrade. If you can, then upgrade as soon as possible, because in terms of the runway for private property prices, it is generally faster than HDBs.
Right.
So like, for example, last time 2020, you can buy 3-bedder Woodlands 900k. But now minimum 1.3, 1.4 already million. So it's only 4 years, no? 4 years, no. Then it's really like increased so much.
So I think this is a good reason why you shouldn't time the market, because the market waits for no one.
Betul tak?
Yes. That's
Nampak? Aku kalau
That's the
beli kondo,
major takeaway,
dah
right?
beli lah.
That's the major takeaway, right?
Yeah. Actually, okay. Now that we have talked about the rental and the owning aspect, right? Can I ask, like, macam, how do actually people start this? Because just now we were talking about, like, actually, in order for you to plan all this, you have to start very, very young. You have to start
Very
early.
young,
Not young macam start early lah, as early as possible.
Before even buying your first property lah.
Yeah, so kirakan macam, let's say macam there's this couple who wants to own this or do this, but orang macam like just getting married. What is their like
first step?
Their first step, yes, correct.
Oh.
So for example
We had that telepathy like, siapa nak Jawab.
So for example, if let's say in terms of affordability, maybe a BTO makes more sense.
Right.
Or maybe you're so lucky that you get a good ballot number and you're going to go ahead with your BTO. Okay. But you have to note that for BTO, for example, if you were to go into BTO 28 years old, and then after that you collect your keys only like 4 to 5 years later, for example. So by then you'll be umur berapa?
33.
32.
Cukup umur.
Cukup umur, but 32, 33. Okay. So that age, right, you baru collect keys now.
Yeah.
So you have to plus another 5 more years because you need to meet your minimum occupation period.
Yeah.
Dah
So that will be 37,
38.
38.
Yeah. So if that is
will be a
what it's
spring
going to be,
season
right? Then how?
Yeah.
Are you going to be like, ready for your next purchase lah? Yeah.
Correct.
So then the other thing is, if I want to cut short, for example, maybe if I don't start at 25 lah, I maybe start at 30 or 32. Then you want to cut short, right?
One time sikit.
Yeah. So maybe a resale HDB might make sense if of course your loan and everything all makes sense lah. Then the runway is shorter lah.
Right.
Meaning that you don't have to wait for so long, right? For the house and everything. And then your occupation, your minimum occupation period also you come earlier lah. You reach earlier. So your plan can proceed further. Yeah.
Right.
So whether to buy resale HDB ke BTO as a start, of course it depends on your season, your affordability. Yeah. Then what's the plan ahead lah?
Yeah, but in terms of, okay, let's say if like this person like macam like, okay, we are going for BTOs. Because I think like most Singaporeans, they can, not say can only afford BTOs lah, but I think BTO is the natural first step untuk banyak Singaporeans out there.
Yeah.
So macam kalau let's say diorang nak beli BTO kan, like macam what should they look out for? Kalau macam like if let's say we were to use the October BTO, October
Upcoming
Yeah, the upcoming one is October BTO. Macam like you look at the plots everywhere, right? Macam kan ada banyak project. Tapi macam like you cannot just beli any project and then macam do this, right? Obviously there are better projects out there that is like macam a good pick for you to start this journey. Yeah,
I would say it's tough to say which is a good project. I mean, first you identify the location of where the project is located, and then if it's located slightly closer to town or at town area, then you can think about the classification. Because the thing is, right now also we don't know what is the classification all the way until the BTO exercise is being released.
Whether the plus,
but you can kind of you can
classification tu apa?
Classification, because now we have the classification standard, plus, prime. So you can kind of see like, actually you can agak-agak lah, like which one is a plus, which one is a prime, which one is a standard.
But apa beza ni between these three classification? What's the main difference?
Okay, the first difference will be the MOP. So for standard BTOs, they have a 5-year MOP period. For plus and prime, it's 10 years.
Astaghfirullahalazim, 10 years.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing lah. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Ya ke?
I think like there is
40 tau aku boleh jual.
I think it's still feasible in a sense. Let's say if you buy very early, 25, then you sell 40. But by then, right, you have to think about, right, what is the property price when you're 40?
Exactly.
So now, let's say I'm 25. Okay, let's say I am 25.
Let's say I'm
25. And then then I buy a prime.
Okay.
I can only sell when I'm 40 years old.
Correct.
That will be 2041.
Ooh.
Okay. The year will be 2041.
What will the price?
But first you have to think what will be the price of HDBs in 2041. The highest, actually, do you all know what is the highest
aku rasa kat
transacted?
Sembawang dah 1 million.
What is the
1.67 million.
Okay, come Zaki.
For
Everyone
original?
guess what is the highest HDB transaction as of today? The price.
1.75 million at Dawson.
Yeah, I think it's about 1.7, 1.8. Oh, no, sorry. Okay. 1.9 for Maisonette. How about that?
Maisonette?
Bro,
Tak,
1.9.
Maisonette tak
Gila dah. 1.9.
1.7.
Actually, is 1.73. So you're close. But you see now in 2025, right?
What size?
There are already
Doesn't
transactions.
matter though.
sitting.
What size?
What size? It's a 5 room. I believe it's a high floor. It's at Sky. It's one of the Sky. You know,
Yeah.
Sky Oasis, Sky
Sky
Urban,
Urban.
Sky Residence. One of it lah. That time I was going to see Penreef punya.
The 4-room BTOs in Tampines or Bedok also already asking at about 1 mil price already.
Yeah. So
The
4 rooms
resale.
at Bedok.
Tampines.
Bedok or the new
Bedok?
one, the resale.
Oh,
MOP,
yeah.
Yeah.
tengok
One
sekarang
listing
dah
Yeah.
850.
Bedok dah 1 million. Habis kalau 10 years later
Yeah.
3 million. So you need tiba.
Asking.
Of course, I do believe the government will regulate the
Yeah.
prices. But I think it's just a matter of time before the first $2 million HDB transaction
Yeah.
hits on the
Oh
market.
my god.
And my take is that I think in 2040 or 2041, 2 million HDB will be a norm.
Kesiannya budak-budak kita. Kesian. Kita punya children
I think the
kesian,
prime,
menangis
right?
orang.
All the prime that you
Yeah.
buy now, right, will sell 2 million.
Astaghfirullahaladzim.
I think lah.
Okay, so back to the differences between
Yeah.
the standard plus and prime. So I believe standard is only one yang ada 5 tahun
Yes.
MOP,
Yes.
and the other two is
10 years.
The other two is 10 years. So back to the topic of one HDB, one condo, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking to own one condo faster, then we recommend standard lah. We will
Yeah.
lean away more to standard. Because if you buy the plus or prime, then you have to tunggu 10 tahun.
10 years.
Then by then the private property prices already
Also increase.
Yeah.
increase by a
Betul
lot.
lah,
Then
betul.
in addition to that, right, if let's say for example you buy your private and then you plan to rent out your HDB because your condo ni you beli maybe closer to your workplace ataupun near your kids school, kan? So then after that, kalau for the plus and the prime, you cannot rent out. Out, even though you already meet the 10-year MOP.
Huh? So kalau if you already own macam if you have a wife that owns a condo, you cannot rent out your HDB.
Cannot rent out your
If
HDB.
it's a plus or
But
prime,
if she doesn't own any condo, can boleh rent out?
No. Yeah,
Wait,
no, so
I'm confused.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Doesn't matter
Yeah,
if you
doesn't
own a
matter.
condo. The plus and prime you
cannot rent out
Cannot rent out
Yeah.
about MOP.
at all.
Yeah. So it's
You just cannot rent out at all.
It's just made
Yeah.
for own stay.
Yeah.
For own stay, yeah, correct.
Yeah, that is how the government try to regulate. Because
Yes,
if they
correct.
don't do this, then everyone
Everybody
will just
gonna
float
game
to
the
plus or
system.
prime.
Correct.
But I mean, this owner-occupier, as much as we talk about it now, there is a chance that they
Yes.
might abolish this lah.
Yes. This is as
abolish
per
what?
today.
Abolish the whole...
Yes, after 10 years,
Policy, yeah.
they will change the whole
No,
idea.
just change it. Just remove it.
Okay.
So
I
meaning
think
that no
what-
matter what, it's like, have two ownership if
Yeah.
you're a married couple.
Yeah, you know what I
That
mean?
kind of thing lah.
Because you never know. All these
Because
kind
you
of things
see
might
all
change.
the cooling measures.
Yeah.
How many already?
Random really. Very random one.
Yeah. Very random.
2040, I think got 30 cooling measures.
Oh, now got what? 17, 18 right?
Yeah,
Now
about
got
that.
17, 18 about there.
Going there already.
18 rounds.
Try
You're
to
ah.
game
on
the
the way
system,
there.
I tell you, the government game you asal.
You set a record each time. Now we're 30 rounds already.
That's why right now, if you sell your condo, you have that 51 cooling period, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for those private owners who wants to buy their HDB lah, they have to wait out. Yeah, so that's why this is how some of the things that the government do to regulate and also to protect the interest of those who really needs a home lah.
Actually, you saw the news, no? They say they might abolish this.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you all
Lift it,
think?
right?
Wait, abolish the apa
no,
ni?
but-
The 15
Apa
months.
tadi tak
They lift
tanya?
up
The 15 months.
15 months wait out period.
Oh.
You know what?
Wait,
What
what
recently,
is this?
Minister...
Oh, kau pun lost Aku nak tepuk tangan. Kita pun
The 15 months.
Saya 10 years sekarang ada 15 months.
Bukan 7 month
Cakap lain.
Bukan 7 month
Aku dah diam. Aku macam okay lah. Tak kurang lah.
Okay, so what is this 15 months?
Okay, so if you buy a private and you want to right size to a HDB, you cannot. Last time, you can just sell your private and go back to HDB
Resale
lah.
HDB lah.
Yeah, but the problem with this, right, is that when people make a lot of money on their private, they don't care how much COV the
Yeah.
HDB has. Yeah, so for example, let's say if the Dawson, the valuation is 900k, tapi you already sell your
7.5.
landed 5 million, then you have 3 million cash proceeds. You don't care if it's 1.1, 1.2. You will
100k,
just
10k, 40k.
throw 1.2 million, then you set record. Then when people see this, there's fear in the market, then you will just keep on increasing the price. So the reason why, so because of this, the government introduced a 15-month cooling measure.
Aku boleh singai-singai.
That one dah berapa lama sah? Over there. So because of this phenomenon,
Yes.
then the government introduced a 15-month cooling measure. Which means if you sell a private, you cannot straight away downsize to a HDB, right size to a HDB, I would say. You have to wait 15 months before you're eligible to buy a HDB again.
Yeah.
This does not apply to those that are above 55.
Yeah.
So why did they want to abolish that?
I mean,
Abolish, I think lift up.
leave the, or
Lift
maybe
up
like,
that,
yeah.
Kenapa
I still remember after the election, after the general election, the minister in charge of national development, MND, came out to, I believe there's a news article about it lah.
Yeah,
He mentioned that he wants
They
to,
have
I don't know what's the
plans,
exact words, but they have plans to like maybe
Leave the system.
lift
Yeah.
this scheme, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were excited lah.
Yes.
But yeah, what's your take on it? Personally, I prefer the scheme to stay.
Yeah, same lah.
Yeah.
My
Because-
take on it is probably if they were to lift it up, they probably impose another one. This is what I would.
Oh, like a different kind of
Yeah.
scheme
Yeah.
That's a good take.
But I feel that it's actually good for those really who needs the HDB. For example, sometimes right, they actually need to right size partly because of like health reason, because they're already like in the 40s, 50s. So when they appeal, I think these are like genuine cases whereby need to have some kind of like consideration.
Depend on the season
yeah.
lah.
Yeah, depending on the seasons and everything. Yeah. So I think it's
Seasons.
good depend on
Sejuk.
if apply correctly lah.
So what are the areas yang available for October punya BTO?
There's a lot. I
Yeah.
believe there's 10 plots.
Correct.
I see some of it as located at quite good locations.
I
So
saw the
there'll be a bit
Bishan one. The Bishan
Yeah.
one macam baik
of- That one is,
The
that one is
Bishop
likely
is
to
more
be
pleasant, right?
likely plus or prime.
Yeah.
Likely plus or
Yeah.
prime. Yeah, if it's RCR,
Super connectivity, man, Bishan.
likely plus or prime.
Yeah. And then if you realize that usually those prime area,
Mm.
the houses are not too big. You don't really see 5 room. I don't think you see
Is it?
at
Yeah,
all.
so the
I've not
Bishan one, I
seen-
just noticed the Bishan ni ada
Up to 4
paling
room
banyak
only,
as 4 room je.
Yeah. So for example, if you are a big family, then this will not be a great location for you to buy your BTO lah, for instance, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you want to be looking at maybe OCR outside,
Yeah.
like Jurong East, maybe Yishun,
Mm,
or
mm,
Woodlands.
I mean, this October exercise quite interesting. There's
It's
plots
very mixed,
at,
I think, eh?
Kan?
there's plot at Yio Chu Kang, got Bedok,
Dia ada satu sebelah
got
Reflections.
Bishan,
Reflection.
Bukit Merah. Bukit Merah got 2.
Sebelah Reflections.
Oh,
Then
yeah,
there's
yeah.
Jurong East. Actually, yeah, Sengkang also got one.
Mm.
So now
So
it's
everybody
quite-
has a
yeah, it's quite spread out lah, this one.
Yeah.
I have one question. So let's say if kalau aku nak pilih right, which area should I buy? Should I macam buy more strategically atau buy because it's an emotional decision? I want it because of this and that.
Can I answer this?
Yes.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
Kau nak beli kopi pasal kau beli lah.
Okay. For yourself, where do you get?
No, okay, for me,
What are your thoughts?
There's a lot of
What are your
considerations
thinking
lah.
process?
if let's say I were to buy the October BTO, I have to look at my situation also. Like
Yeah.
I can just say I want to buy the one at Greater Southern Waterfront. But the thing is, aku punya bini nak beli tak sana? You know? Will my parents, is it near my parents or not?
Yeah, so does
You
that
know?
factor into your purchase or is it more, it doesn't matter all these
There's
factors.
no right
It's
or wrong
strategic
lah.
and I want it to buy because I know in future you will appreciate.
I think one thing about BTO right is that because when you buy, you are a first mover. So in terms of profits, it will be healthy anyways lah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't think it matters so much. Usually when you buy BTO, for me, there's not much like macam stack advice I can give also because
Yeah.
at the moment, yeah, you know, like
Depends on the balance number.
stack analysis or like whichever come up.
It depends on the balance numbers.
Yeah, it really depends on the balance number. Because at the end of the day, you get an okay one. Then you just have to choose whichever is left.
correct.
But at the end of the day, whichever you choose, I believe will still gain
Appreciate.
You will definitely sell.
Appreciate lah.
You don't have to worry that the house can't sell. Not like a condo. If you buy the wrong unit or the wrong project, you're going to take a long time to sell or very hard to sell. lah.
Because you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard this. Orang cakap about own stay and rental properties. The strategic to buy these properties cannot be the same. If you're buying for on stay, you buy for home stay. If you buy for rental, you buy for rental.
Correct.
So it's not cannot mix it. Right? Is it true?
Actually,
I would say
Of course
slightly because like let's say if you are planning to do one owner one occupier and you are planning to because for the owner occupier you can either stay at condo, rent out the HDB or stay at the HDB or stay at the
Rent out the
HDB
condo.
and rent out the condo, right?
Yeah.
So if you're looking to rent out the HDB, then you can choose a HDB that has good amenities around lah.
So it does
Yeah.
play a part, but then like you said,
But I wouldn't say it's a very crucial factor. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you are staying with your
Can.
wife.
Actually,
At the end of the day,
But of
BTO
course,
is still
it can also work both ways, whereby you do macam stay investing lah. You know,
Stay investing. Oh, tak boleh.
so basically, right, it's like a stay and then with a mind that is also as part of our investment.
Yes.
Yeah.
so kira kan stay dalam rumah tu, bilik tu rent out.
No.
No. So
bukan.
basically,
That's
macam
that one is rent.
that means
No,
your
sorry.
choice of the property has to be important lah. You know, like
Faham.
yeah. So for example, you wouldn't want to buy something that is like either whether it's like a boutique project versus a boutique project and a healthy, like a bigger mid-sized development kind of project. But transitions are very healthy and everything. So if you were to buy like a mid-sized project versus a boutique project, what's the challenge is that for a boutique project is like very little, so the transition is not healthy, right? So if you want to sell maybe in the next 3 or 5 years, when you hit your SSD period, for instance, 3 years, then you will face some challenges lah.
Correct.
So when you do the stay investing, it's more of like, okay, when you buy this, you still know that in the next 3 to 5 years or 8 years, right, when you sell, it's going to be healthy proceeds.
Faham.
So you will still have that capital gain growth in that property. Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have to like think, okay, after this one I need to sell, and then like only like, okay, this HDB or whichever the condo that I buy, I can if I want to earn from it, I can only sell it or something like that. So you can stay, you choose your right property, meaning that it's for the family, is also, it hits all the check boxes for schools, for the amenities and everything. Yes. So that means you have that comfort at the same time, so you know that this one is like money generating for you. Yeah, because you always think about asset progression, but yeah, in like
So it
increasing
doesn't
value.
have to macam lean one or the other.
Yes,
lah.
correct. It can be two lah. Yeah, so that's why the choice of property is important lah.
Wow, so there's a lot of factors to think kalau
Actually,
macam
yeah.
like want to invest all this. Yeah, I mean like asset progression is a journey lah. I think it's really not it's not a macam destination. It's a journey.
Yes.
So there is a lot of things to think about in this journey. There's a
that's
lot.
true.
Yeah.
That's why they cakap different season,
Mhm.
and it also depends on like what are your needs and your wants, your family and everything. Yeah, a lot of factors.
Yeah, so kira kan kalau macam korang rasa macam you guys want to embark on this journey, rasa macam like, okay, I think this is something that I feel like you as a family should go for. I think macam you guys can ask either Ayu or Farouk for information lah about like macam more information about this topic at hand lah. Yeah. So I think moving on, kita go to the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay, so first rapid fire question. Okay, not so rapid lah. Y'all can chill. So, true or false? Owning both a HDB and a condo is too risky for most young people.
I think like we mentioned previously, it is very strongly dependent on your earning power and your cash and CPF holdings lah.
Faham.
Because, for example, for us, if let's say we consult a client and we look, their finances might not be comfortable to do this kind of practice, so only one HDB on condo, then we would advise against it lah. So in the end, I think the risk is really dependent on your own personal finances.
Faham.
But as far as I know, I think the majority of us macam, especially when we are in your 20s, I don't think kita ada banyak finances to even start with.
Yeah. Correct. So macam like just now kita dah discuss tadi, the owning the macam BTO, that's your first pot of gold. So that one I think should be, if you are really embarking on this journey kan, kena betul-betul pilih yang betul lah.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you start, right, then obviously macam you already know from the very start, from the get go, you already know that okay, this is what you as a couple, as a family, as a young family want to go for. Then macam make the right decisions there and there lah.
Yeah.
But of course, like based on what dorang cakap tadi, macam it depends lah on your season.
Yeah.
So depends on macam like if you can afford it or cannot afford it. Now risky pun I don't think is the word, but I feel like it's something more macam like you have to be more strategic with your decisions. Yeah. So risky is one thing, but like you have to be more strategic.
Yeah, so false lah. The answer it will be false.
False, kesian dia so false.
Rapid fire number 2. True or false? Is it true that a 4-room HDB in the right location can earn more than a condo?
Yeah, so for example, if let's say you're comparing to okay, condo in Yishun and HDB in Yishun, okay? So the next thing that you want to compare, right, is whether is it near MRT or far from MRT, right? So for example, a condo near MRT, of course the turnover is very high, The meaning that if you want to get your next tenant, it's very fast, because usually most tenants don't drive. They just wants the accessibility to the train station.
Correct.
So whether it earn higher than the HDB, it also depends. Why? The interior. If let's say the interior is really good and everything, of course they are willing to pay more versus something that is very old.
Right.
So there's no determinant like whether this.
But what is the average? Macam 4-bedroom HDB kalau nak rent out the full unit, how much is that? And kalau nak rent out a full unit in condo,
Aku rasa
Yishun. What's the
4 room
average?
should be about
Macam
4 to 5.
Let's talk about Yishun lah.
It
It should be about 4 to 5.
3.5 to 4 plus like that. At this
3.5
point
you
lah.
can get
1,000.
3 room.
Yeah, correct.
3.5 should be 3 room.
Yeah.
Then I think 4 room will be a bit more expensive. Will be about
5,000.
4,000 to 5,000.
That's for HDB lah.
Yeah, that's for HDB. But yeah, another thing maybe I want to touch on is also like if you're looking at pure rental yield, right?
Yeah.
Then it's better to rent out your HDB.
Yield dah beli.
Yield. So basically
Yield.
So
Rental lah. Yield
So
dah beli.
okay, let me guess. Rental yield is basically your macam overall how much you earn in that year.
yes.
Right, okay.
Then you divide by, so basically how much rental you earn, you divide by the valuation of your house. Because HDB's the pricing is lower than condo, your rental yield will always be higher.
Right.
Understand? Yeah. So like for example,
He doesn't understand.
Aku tak faham je.
Okay, tak apa,
Aku fahamkan
never mind.
je.
just to give you an apple to apple comparison. So for example, for 3,500, you can rent a 3-room HDB. For condo, you can rent 1-bedder.
Okay, faham.
Okay, but the 1-bedders are priced at 1 million, 1.1 million. The 3-room HDBs are only priced at 500k, 600k. But you're getting the same rental.
Right.
Yeah.
So the yield is higher for 3-room. That's the
Okay,
apple to
faham,
apple.
faham.
Good math.
Nak cakap apple tak cakap
Yeah.
apple lah dia memang. Okay, faham.
Okay.
Okay, so at the end the answer is
Is it true or false? Answer is false, I believe.
Yeah.
Based on your answers.
Okay, so basically guys, question number 3. So nak tanya sikit, kalau kita rent out kita punya HDB kan, cukup tak untuk cover kita punya condo punya mortgage?
condo mortgage.
Yes. So macam cukup macam genak-genak. Kalau katakan kita rent out kita punya 4 room at 5,000, kalau kita punya mortgage condo kita monthly cukup tak untuk cover?
What are we even looking at monthly for a condo punya mortgage? Kalau macam kata 1-bedder.
So you're asking me how much?
Yeah, how much?
How much? Okay, if you buy, okay, let's say you buy a $1 million condo, okay, a 1-bedder, then your loan is 750k.
Yeah.
Then let's say you're 35, below 35, which that means your loan 10 years, 30 years. Your monthly is around 3,000.
3,000 a month.
3,000 a month for 750k loan.
Ni dia.
But this is a
For
1-bedder condo
yeah.
lah. I
That
don't
means it's
think you
true
will buy a
for a
1-bedder
smaller
condo
condo.
after your MOP.
Mak
I
tahu.
think,
Saya feeling nak beli one bedder.
yeah, I think usually people will buy like either 2-bedder or 3-bedder.
Right.
Like
It's
after
advisable lah.
MOP, yeah, advisable.
So does that mean that the answer is false? Because
Not necessarily. Okay, so for example, let's say, okay, the answer to this is true. Okay,
Yes.
the answer to this is true.
Possible.
So I give you a scenario. For example, let's say we buy $1.3 million condo, 3-bedder. I think still have
3
not
bedder
a lot,
1.3 million.
not a lot
Oh,
in the
gila.
market. Okay, let's say 2 lah, 2-bedder.
Okay,
kat mana ni Lakeside?
Lakeside, Woodlands.
Sora.
Sora. Lakeside, Woodlands, maybe like Canberra, Bukit Panjang,
Bukit Panjang,
OCR areas. Let's say you buy 1.3 about there, then you take a loan about 1 million about there. Actually, is that 75%? No,
No, lesser.
lesser. 900k, about 900k, 900k to 950k about
Okay.
there. Then your monthly mortgage will probably be about 3,008. I
Okay.
think 3,007, 3,008. That will be your monthly mortgage.
Okay.
But you also need to tambah MCST.
Yeah.
So you know how condo
Damn.
Yeah.
you have your MCST fees, right?
Kan yang kondo yang sekali kau cakap tu ada
Probably
satu
forgot
guard,
about MCST fees.
ada satu swimming pool.
That's about
Security guard.
Security. Ni semua MCST.
Itu MCST tu.
Kena bayar bro.
Sangat free mereka punya kau.
So let's say MCST is about 400.
Orang maintain.
MCST about 400, 500.
About 500 is the higher side. Probably
Yeah.
about 300 to 400. So if you let's say we add on 3,008 plus 400, that's about 4,200. I think that if you were to rent out your HDB, a 4-room or 5-room, should be able to cover 4,000. Because the rate for 4 room to 5 room should be around, for OCR area should be around 4,000 to 5,000.
Oh.
So it should be able to cover. But of course this depends. I mean, if you buy a bigger condo and your mortgage is higher, then might not be able to cover lah. But I would, if you ask me in the current market, possible. Answer is true.
Oh, so kirakan you can cover your mortgage and also still give you profit lah. Kalau depends on like the right property lah.
Yeah.
So for example, if let's say your HDB, right, you fully pay, then whatever you already fully pay your HDB, right? Then you want to rent out your HDB to stay your condo, right? So the HDB ni will fully go to the condo punya monthly mortgage apa. So you don't even have to take out your savings or your CPF, in fact. So from this one to the other side. To pay. So make sure that whatever that you buy you can cover lah. So of course all this have to do the math lah. Like you already know the MCST fees how much, and then the monthly mortgage how much. So for your house, the existing house that you have, make sure that it can cover everything, because you already know, right? Yeah, you have that knowledge already before you even buy that condo. For example, if you were to buy like 5 bedroom or 4 bedroom, then of course it can't cover lah. Yeah. So all this can be planned out. Yep.
So need to predict macam berapa macam rental kita boleh get from the condo.
Yes, as well.
Actually, I have a friend who, ni betul-betul aku ada kawan aku tak main-main. I have a friend who lives in a Bukit Batok HDB. Then tiba-tiba dia pindah pergi Reflections. And for a 2-bedder,
tiba-tiba
dia tiba-tiba dia pindah to 2-bedder at Reflections. Then I asked him like, then your house at Bukit Batok how? Dia cakap, I rent out. Then apparently like macam dia dah rent out to HDB kat Bukit Batok, but dia tinggal kat Reflections. Then I asked him, so your mother bought a unit in Reflections, is it? You bought this unit, is it? No, I rent out this unit. So kirakan dia rent out the HDB to pay for the rent at Reflections. So macam like, I don't know if that's smart, or I don't know if that's the macam like just want to feel the vibe, I don't know what like
this is called reinvesting lah.
This is reinvesting.
Yeah, reinvesting basically means you rent, like the place you stay, you rent. But whatever property you have, you also rent that out to cover your current rental.
More to like sustain your lifestyle.
Right.
So usually people want to be closer.
Reflections nice like not you want to stay near the
atas people.
So kira kan macam nak feeling
Yes.
Right. So you rent out the HDB to pay for the condo.
So he rent out the HDB to pay for the rental for that condo.
So he's renting the condo.
He's renting the condo. He didn't buy the condo. He rents out the condo.
What do you think, Bari? Will you explore
do that?
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the seasons and the needs.
Sounds like
on the seasons. Sounds like us really, bro.
But I don't know. I always feel like if you're just renting, we are Singaporeans and we rent in Singapore, that money could have been used somewhere else. This is what I feel lah. Yeah. Unless you are like an expert and you need to rent, then makes more sense lah.
Okay lah, macam buat 3 bulan, 4 bulan, then patah balik okay.
What about yourself?
I feel
Would you
like
consider doing that?
I would say it's macam cakap how do I say this like it's smart if you have to do it short term, because if let's say you have to feel how it feels like to live in a condo, and then like, okay, you know what, I want to buy a condo, but I just want to know how it feels like to live in a condo, and just to get the feeling of how to live in a condo, then you do that just to get the feel. And then
is it possible just to do like 2 months or 1 month?
No.
What's the minimum?
3. For private is 3 months.
Minimum for private is 3. Minimum for HDB is 6.
To rent out.
Yeah. So kirakan macam just to feel first, and then like macam set, okay, maybe I really want to live in this condo, then they buy that condo. It makes sense. Tapi kalau macam long term, I feel like it's quite tak make sense lah.
Kau jama condo dulu lah.
Okay, so for example, for my client, right, we have this whereby they are the 2 properties. Husband and wife own each 1 property, but they rent out these 2 to rent a landed.
They rent out 2 properties to rent
a landed.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So why is this like firstly it's like a lifestyle as well, because they have 3 dogs. So dogs needs a big space, right? So that's why they decide to rent the landed. So but then these 2 properties help to fund this rental for this landed lah.
Landed.
So It really depends on your needs, your wants, and all that stuff lah. Yeah. So some people also not because of this. They also rent because for kids' school, for instance, or to be closer to their workplace because maybe the nature of the job is like weird hours and everything, right? So to be closer to the workplace.
The only thing for me that I not really leaning towards rental is mainly because you can't really personalize kau punya rumah apa.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So macam if I want to live there, I want to be able to personalize my rumah. And then I know when rental usually they have a lot of macam restriction. Macam tak boleh ada anjing, tak boleh ada kucing. Kan kau tak boleh ada, I don't know what other restrictions are there, you know.
So kirakan is just to get the feel lah. Get the feel lah.
Okay, so last rapid fire question, true or false? Some HDB owners can buy a private condo before finishing paying off their HDB loan. Is it true or false?
The answer is to be true. So for example, if you buy a 400k BTO, 100k down payment, 300k loan, then let's say in 10 years later, your loan left is about 200k of loan. You can still sell it off, pay off the entire loan, then buy a private condo. So the answer is true.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't actually have to. I think it's a good question because there are a lot of mindsets out there where I just want to finish paying my loan, right?
Yeah.
And like I just want to live comfortably, which is definitely nothing wrong.
Yeah,
it's definitely a very common mindset. But just to clear it up, you actually can sell your property, pay off the loan, and then go into your next asset if you want. I guess the other angle is like if you are doing one HDB, one owner, one occupier, you don't have to pay off the HDB loan before jumping to your private.
Yeah.
So you can take on both loans.
Understand.
Yeah, so technically you can take on 2 loans.
Because the occupier is the one taking it's going to make the owner for the private, right? So the loan is going to be under her name or his name.
So one thing to consider is you have 2 loans. You have the HDB loan and the private loan. Your cash flow will be higher, but of course you're going to rent out one. So you have to decide at that moment, would you rather rent out the HDB or would you rather rent out the private? Then you have to assess what is your cash flow per month and see whether it's comfortable.
Okay, thanks for the input, everyone. I think it's been very fruitful lah. Very fruitful for like macam for the investment standpoint. Kirakan macam like if you really like macam into this topic, not many people are into this topic by the way. Macam like I think ni it's quite important kalau macam we get semua orang to just be aware that this actually is possible. Correct lah Bari? Okay lah guys, kita dah dengar with like what Farouk and Ayu had to say about the situation at hand lah. Obviously macam a lot of times macam like a lot of people think about this, they don't really know how to execute it. I don't think banyak orang tahu kan pasal ni kan Bari kan?
I don't think so. I think the only reason why we will know more about it because we are in this industry ourselves.
Correct. Aku sebelum kerja sini aku tak tahu tak pasal ni. Honestly macam like if I weren't working here, obviously macam like this wouldn't come to mind lah. Sebab macam banyak orang fikir kalau nak beli rumah is just own stay je apa. Tapi like there's so much more you can do actually. And knowing this early is actually key. It's very important. So so if you guys want to know more, you guys can contact us at
8777-0122.
And that is 8777-0122. Alright guys, and if you guys want to follow us, you guys can follow us at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram and TikTok at
Rumah PLBSG.
Alright guys, do follow us and email us, okay? Our email also down there.
Email mana?
Email kita apa Bari?
rumahplb.sg@gmail.com.
Oh, macam gila tau. Macam nak okay, kita tak hasil. Okay guys, kalau korang nak follow, korang follow. Okay guys, Farouk, you want to say something not just now?
Yeah, if you do want to have a financial breakdown, just to understand a little bit more on your current situation, based on your current season, what are some of the options available for you, then feel free to contact us, 8777-0122. We'll be more than happy to engage you and share some of the options that are available for you.
Okay, so one last thing before we wrap up, we have an upcoming event coming up, which is the HDB clinic for D18, which is the Tampines and Pasir Ris area. If you guys are interested to know more regarding the properties there, please come and join us on October 14. Right? Location to be confirmed, but for more information, you all can find it at our website.
Alright guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching our podcast. Tak tahu tanya. Pergi kepada laman website kami
pergi kepada lagi
Laman website kami
laman website kami
www.propertylynbrothers.com
www.propertylim aku macam rap ladies www.propertylynbrothers.com
Slash
tak tahu
tanya. Terima kasih. Okay, bye-bye.